In the dead silence of outer space, no one hears an explosion, no alarms, no missiles, no warning, just failure. One by one, systems go dark. Satellites, communications, power grids. Within seconds, cities turn into caves. Hospitals lose power. Military bases go blind. And in less than a minute, the most powerful country on Earth, the United States, is brought to its knees. What if I told you this isn't just possible? It might already be happening. We're talking about one of the most feared weapons ever conceived, the electromagnetic pulse. But this isn't just an EMP. This is Russia's weaponized pulse infrastructure, developed in the shadows for decades. And if the theories, leaks, and patterns are true, then the next global war won't be visible. It will be electromagnetic. Let's start with the basics. What is an EMP? An electromagnetic pulse is a burst of electromagnetic radiation, often caused by a nuclear explosion at high altitude, or by a specially designed non-nuclear device. That pulse sends out a wave of energy that instantly disables, fries, or destroys anything electronic. Phones, computers, aircraft systems, banking networks, satellites, even car ignitions. Now think about your daily life. Everything you depend on, from water pumps to insulin deliveries, from GPS to emergency services, relies on electronics. Take that away, and within 72 hours, we're not in the 21st century anymore. We're in 18th century 25. The US has known about EMPs for decades. In 1962, during the Starfish Prime test, a 1.4 megaton nuclear bomb was detonated 400 kilometers above the Pacific. It disabled streetlights in Hawaii, nearly 900 miles away. Garage doors opened by themselves, radios shorted out, and that was a test from over 60 years ago. So how far has the technology come? Let's talk about Russia. Under President Vladimir Putin, Russia has massively shifted its military doctrine toward non-traditional warfare, cyber attacks, disinformation, and electromagnetic disruption. While the world watches Ukraine, something else has been quietly happening in Siberia and beyond: the development of next-generation EMP systems. Enter Project Peresvet, officially unveiled in 2018. The Peresvet was marketed as a laser defense system, but Western analysts immediately noticed something strange. No real testing footage, no independent verification, no international observers. Instead, what we've seen are vague demonstrations, strange satellite behavior, and a flood of internal secrecy. According to whistleblower accounts leaked in early 2024, the Peresvet isn't just a laser, it's a multi-role, EMP-capable platform integrated with Russia's orbital assets. Its purpose: control space, control signals, control the battlefield without firing a bullet. The idea is simple: if you can destroy your enemy's ability to communicate, navigate, or coordinate, you win the war before it starts. But the real twist is this: insiders claim that Russia already has Peresvet-class weapons in orbit. Let's pause for a second. Yes, a weapon in space, not a nuke, not a laser, a device specifically designed to emit concentrated electromagnetic pulses directly at Earth's surface or into orbit, knocking out satellites, radar, and defense systems with surgical precision. Think that sounds far-fetched? Let's look at the clue. In 2022, NATO satellites recorded strange signal interference over the Arctic, lasting 14 minutes. No solar storms were detected. GPS blacked out over northern Scandinavia. Pilots were ordered to reroute. No explanation was ever given. In 2020, intelligence analysts intercepted Russian scientific documents referencing a non-kinetic orbital payload. The files included references to magnetohydrodynamic containment and vacuum pulse projection. These aren't sci-fi terms, they're real physics, and they match theoretical models for an orbital EMP cannon. Meanwhile, civilians in Alaska began reporting electrical anomalies, outages, and GPS dropouts, all lining up with the orbital path of a known Russian communications satellite, one that reportedly changed trajectory multiple times in 20. So, what's really happening up there? Let's break it down further. An EMP weapon doesn't need to be nuclear. In fact, using a nuclear-based EMP in space is an act of war under international law. But non-nuclear EMPs, especially those using microwave pulse emitters or capacitor banks, can be fired silently, anonymously, and repeatedly. No explosion, no trail, just darkness. According to Russian military defectors, some of whom fled after Putin's invasion of Ukraine, EMP research has been part of Russian military doctrine for over 30 years. They described underground labs where capacitor banks, the size of small buildings, were tested. Some even claim EMP experiments were conducted on decommissioned Soviet cities, places where civilians mysteriously vanished. Are these just ghost stories? Maybe. But here's what's not a story. The United States is scared. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has published multiple reports warning of EMP threats. The Congressional EMP Commission in 2017 stated clearly that a successful EMP attack could lead to the death of 90% of Americans within a year. Why? Because everything would stop. Food, medicine, heat, communication, and what's being done to stop it? Well, some things are being done, but not nearly enough. Critical infrastructure, like military command centers, and NORAD, are EMP hardened. So are Air Force One, nuclear silos, and some high-level bunkers. But civilian infrastructure, power plants, water systems, hospitals, almost nothing. That means an attack wouldn't need to be large. It could be targeted, strategic, focused on key population centers, data hubs, or military bases. And here's the terrifying part. We may not even know we were attacked. EMP effects can be mistaken for power failures, computer bugs, or cosmic radiation. And if it comes from orbit, there's no source to trace, no launch signature to track. Now let's talk about space law, or rather the lack of it. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty bans weapons of mass destruction in orbit. But here's the trick. It doesn't define non-lethal or non-explosive weapon. That means a non-nuclear EMP emitter, disguised as a satellite or scientific platform, could technically exist in space, completely legally. And guess who didn't sign the 2008 EU Code of Conduct for outer space activities? Russia, China, and yes, the United States, because everyone knows the next war isn't going to start on the ground, it's going to start in orbit. And once the lights go out, it's already too late. Let's connect this to geopolitics. Why would Russia want such a weapon? Simple, deterrence through fear. While NATO expands, while China grows in power, and while the US dominates technology, Russia seeks leverage, a trump card, something that levels the playing field, something so dangerous, no one would dare challenge them. And with recent economic sanctions and isolation, Russia has leaned even harder into black budget military projects, hypersonic missiles, autonomous submarines, and now EMPs. But there's one more angle, and it might be the most terrifying of all. What if it's not about war, but global reset? Some analysts believe that rogue factions, within or outside of Russia, may want to trigger controlled chaos, a blackout event, blamed on solar flares, or cyber attacks. They could erase debts, wipe data, restructure economy, rebuild political systems, all under the cover of technical failure. And who benefits from that? Who has the most to gain from a digital reset? That's a question you need to ask. Now let's go back to today. Right now, above our heads, over 5,000 satellites are orbiting Earth. Many are civilian, some are military. A few are something else entirely. Somewhere up there, a Russian object, called Cosmos 2058, has been quietly shadowing a US spy satellite. It's maneuverable, it's evasive, and it's equipped with something, no one knows what, but it's still there. So here's the question. Are we ready? If the lights go out tomorrow, are you ready? Because the world is changing, warfare is changing, and the battlefield isn't land or sea anymore. It's orbit, it's silence, it's the invisible pulse that kills with no trace. If you're still watching, you've just been exposed to the kind of truth that algorithms don't like to promote. That's why it's on you to take the next step. Also, like this video if you want more deep dive investigation. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We're just getting started. And share this video with someone who needs to wake up. Because the next war won't be fought with tanks. It'll be fought with silence and electricity. And we're already losing.